Another event on the day of the Palin endorsement got very different media treatment. At a fundraiser in Seattle, Joe Biden boldly predicted in no uncertain terms that our enemies would test Obama with a manufactured international crisis.
Remember I said standing here, you don't remember anything else I said. Watch, we're going to have an international crisis, a generated crisis, to test the mettle of this guy.
The networks went out of their way to ignore the stunning comments and totally left out the most amazing part, which was where Biden strongly implied Obama wouldn't handle the situation well.
We're going to need you to use your influence in the community to stand with him, because it's not going to be apparent initially. It's not going to be apparent that we're right.
But Andrea Mitchell's report on NBC Nightly News deserves special mention for going way beyond bias and into flat-out malpractice and Obama advocacy.
But today, the McCain camp seized on something Joe Biden said, that Obama would be tested in his first months in office.
Because they're going to want to test him, just like they did young John Kennedy. They're going to want to test him. And they're going to find out this guy's got steel in his spine.
What was particularly galling about that report was that the Biden audio Mitchell decided to use was from a totally different day in a totally different city than the Seattle event that the McCain camp had been referencing. Something she didn't even seem to understand when she was called on her very suspicious selection of sound bites.
I'm just going to gently chide you and beg you to play the entire clip. You hear that what Senator Biden...
The one where he talks about Obama's steel spine, perhaps?
No.
We did play it earlier for Tom Daschle to respond to.
Did you play the whole thing? Tell me you played the whole thing.
I think we played the whole thing. As best I can tell, we played the whole thing. We've been playing it all day. We had it on Morning Joe.
Do you play the part where it says that it won't be apparent that he's done the right thing as well? Because that's important also, I think.
Okay. Thanks for your editing advice.
Earlier that morning, surely thanks to Mitchell's nefarious or at least completely incompetent reporting, MSNBC again played the far less incriminating audio and labeled it incorrectly as having been from the Seattle event in question. If that wasn't strange enough, then came this surreal moment when even with the wrong audio, Dan Rather, of all people, could see what was really going on here.
Certainly if Sarah and Palin had said this, it would be above the fold in most newspapers today.
Most incredibly, if you got your information that week only from watching NBC, you literally learned far more about what Joe Biden said from SNL than you did the nightly news.
Mark my words, if you take away nothing else from what I say here today, or indeed in this entire campaign, remember this. If Barack Obama is elected, we will have a crisis. And when this crisis hits, and it will, in the second week of February, we may do some weird things.
Of course, unlike Tina Fey's Palin impression, newscasts were, for some reason, totally uninterested in replaying that Biden bit. Instead, they mostly just parroted Obama's own laughably false talking points.
I think that Joe sometimes engages in rhetorical flourishes, but I think that his core point was that the next administration is going to be tested regardless of who it is.
The Obama campaign says what Biden meant was that whoever the next president is, he will be tested.
The Biden theory of an early test of the mettle of whomever the new president is.
Biden said that the next president would face a crisis he believed in the first 6 months.
A crisis early on in a new administration, that's by no means unusual if you look at history.
It is not unusual, Wolf.
And when Palin hit a memorable home run on live TV when mocking the 5 crisis scenarios that Biden had warned could come in an Obama presidency, the media pretended it never happened.
The looming crisis that most worries the Obama campaign right now is Joe Biden's next speaking engagement.